I am Jenny, La Gringa Salvadoreña, and if you are on your way down to El Salvador, look me up and I will hook you up with the best options and the best things to do in the beautiful new land of the free. After 3 years and over 200 plus videos on YouTube of what life is like in El Salvador, I'm finally starting my own hosting business because so many of you have asked me about what it's like to be here and where to get the best stuffs and what the culture is like. So here we go. We're kicking off this hosting business with the experience of my son, David, who's 18, coming down to get his wisdom teeth removed. We're going to walk you through what it's like and what you can expect with living like a local to get your medical procedures done in El Salvador.
Hey, welcome to El Salvador. My name is Ben, and I'll be your driver today.
Ben, Mahele, his wife, or one of our team will come to pick you up from the airport. You'll receive an email beforehand with a picture and a name so you know exactly who to meet. After they've dropped you off at your pre-selected hosting site, you're ready for your treatment. Here we go. David, we're going in. Any famous last words?
The anesthesia didn't work last time.
So hopefully it'll work this time.
Yes.
Natural Dent is one of our pre-approved medical partners. The founders, Dr. Laura Lemus and Alejandro, both speak English and support the local community through Casa de Vida, the local shelter for teens pregnant due to violence.
Hola, buenas tardes, ¿cómo estamos? Hola, soy Jenny y este es mi hijo David. Mucho gusto, Roberto Manzanares, nice to meet you.
Samuel Fuentes, cirujano maxilofacial.
Okay.
The anesthesiologist explained everything about the procedure and what to expect with David's recovery. In some procedures, there's a local anesthetic that can be administered that doesn't require an anesthesiologist and being fully out. But due to David's last procedure in the States, he opted to be fully knocked out. The surgeon answered our questions, and we chose between dissolving stitches or stronger ones to be taken out after 6 days. Even though I translated for David, all of Living Like a Local's medical partners have English translators available to make sure that nothing is lost in translation when it comes to your health. Which leads me to why it is important to go with something like Living Like a Local hosting, because we pre-screen and make sure all of our medical providers are 1, English speaking or have English translators on site. 2, they are Salvadoran owned and operated, so we are raising up the country. 3, they have a great reputation with either our clients or I personally have an experience with them, and they are board certified and approved. Because that's not always a given down here. You can't just Google somebody and trust that they have gone through all the certifications and requirements to do what they are doing. And lastly, the most important is that all of our providers are actively giving back to the local Salvadoran community. The best way to beat corruption is when Salvadorans are taking care of Salvadorans. David's procedure was less than an hour, including going in and out of consciousness with the anesthesia. But he couldn't exactly communicate too well, so thankfully he used his phone to text back and forth so he could check and make sure that he was fully conscious when it was time to go. The next part of the process is helping him get a little bit more sure and aware of his surroundings. So they walked him out to the lobby and sat him down, and while he was regaining consciousness, I worked on the paperwork and made sure I understood exactly what needed to happen in the next 24 hours, as those are the most important. David felt a little unsure and thought he was bleeding too much, so the doctor took us right back in to double check.
He's okay.
He's okay.
Not bleeding.
Okay, great. Then our driver, Ben, slowly helps David get down the stairs nice and safe. Then we were off to go get his meds and get back to our apartment. So Ben took us directly to the pharmacy so I can get this filled out, and then we go straight back to the place. Okay, now that I got the pills, Ben's gonna take us back to where we're gonna stay and get him down flat with all the juice and the pills and the ice compresses that we need. Okay, so it's our day to head out, but we are coming back by the clinic because David wanted to check and make sure that even though the stitches came loose on the bottom, that everything was still okay because he stayed on his meds and that we're good to go back to the US. Dr. Laura was great through this whole process. Anytime we had a doubt or a question, she was there through text.
Okay, don't worry, it's normal, okay? The first 3 days are the worst, like I told you, okay? So be careful with food, still soft food, okay? No hard food. And take the pills like we told you, and you are getting better in 2 weeks. You don't feel almost nothing, okay?
Okay.
Any questions?
How do you feel, David?
I feel pretty good and very reassured. So I'm heading back home tonight, late night flight. What counts as a heavy thing so I know like what baggage I can lift?
No more than 20 pounds of weight, okay? You try to have a very light backpack, okay?
All right, thank you.
This is the note for recovery, okay? We give you 5 days, or 6 days, okay?
Yes.
So you can use it.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much for the procedure.
You're welcome.
You were all very helpful and clear. Made this much smoother than it would have been in the States.
Okay, it's a pleasure for us, and get better soon, okay?
Of course.
Okay, well, David and I are back in the US now, and with less teeth in your body than before. He does have his teeth, he kept them as a souvenir. But, okay, so the whole process is over. So now give us your breakdown of what you thought of El Salvador, what you thought of getting your wisdom teeth out, as opposed to there, as opposed to getting your wisdom teeth out here, and I guess your overall rating of the whole trip and your spring break 2024.
Honestly, it's something you could do on a Saturday afternoon if you don't mind spending the money to get like good connecting flights. And even then, if you want to do it for cheap, you know, you can get great layovers in most of the cities. You just have to do a little bit of planning. And yeah, it's a great experience. And this is definitely going to be something I'm going to remember for the rest of my life.
Yeah, this is definitely a spring break that will go down in history.
Not only that, you were only there for one day before I had to go in and get my teeth done. That means in the span of that one day that we had, well, we also had the morning of the second day, but that doesn't really count. But in the span of that one day, I learned how to surf, again, for super, super cheap. I had a bunch of great food at a bunch of different places. It's a very, like, good cultural immersion. It doesn't really matter if you don't speak the language. Like, yes, that helps, but a lot of people there, they will speak English. If you're doing the hosting thing with living like a local, your hosts, they do speak English, or they're totally safe too. Like, honestly, pretty straightforward. When I started the surgery, they just hooked me up to everything. Wasn't painful at all. They knocked me out, and then I woke up afterwards. It's real simple.
And that's what you wanted, right?
Yeah, I did not want to be awake for that. Yeah.
What would have been different if you had had the surgery here in the US?
If we had the surgery here, you would have had to consider a lot more like the price of stuff, like the gas that'll knock you out or the anesthesia. Whereas down there, it's a lot more of a secondary concern. The hosts, they help keep everything streamlined. They help you know what's going on. It is a different country, you know? Up here, we have our apps, we have our ways of doing things, we have the systems, the cultural norms. If you go down there and expect it to be the same, you're going to be super lost. Fortunately, again, that's what we have the host for in Living Like a Local. That's why there's the whole Living Like a Local thing. But if you look like a tourist or seem like a tourist, a lot of people, no matter where you are, will charge you more money. If you're going with Living Like a Local with these hosts, you're gonna get a lot, I would say almost always, you're gonna get the normal local price, which is, it's gonna save you a lot of money, and you're not gonna have to worry about getting scammed. That's a real big one. Having some people and stuff down there that you can trust just during your first experience, that's really amazing. If I wasn't certain I could trust what was going on, that, again, the whole experience would have been vastly different. And then finally, you can call them. If something's going wrong, you can reach out, you can contact people. You're not on your own. And not only that, San Salvador, El Salvador, it's not that big a place. It's, you know, it's relatively small. Worst comes to worst, our host can come and get you wherever you are. It's me, Jenn Ari's son. You know, the guy who got his wisdom teeth out just 2 months ago? 2 months ago. So everything's gone great. The recovery process was smooth. You know, I was concerned one time that maybe the stitches came out early. And so we called them up and said, hey, is this fine? And they were like, yeah, it's fine. So yeah.
How you feeling?
It's all gone well. I'm feeling great. I have full range of motion with my mouth back. I can eat whatever I want. I have been able to for a while.
And you even cut your hair. What's the story behind the hair?
Oh, that.
They all want to know.
Not much of a story, really. It was long.
It's hot.
Yeah, kind of inconvenient.
Heavy.
Anyways, I gotta go. So, see y'all later.
Say hi, Addie.
Hello.
Hi, Addie. We are 4 teeth less. Bye, Addie.